Dear students, good morning to all. Welcome to the today's class. I hope all of you and your families are staying safe and well during this challenging time. Okay, we already started third chapter, motion in a straight line. Motion in a straight line. ಸರಳರೇಖ ಪಥದಲ್ಲಿ ವಸ್ತುವಿನ ಚಲನೆ. Motion of a particle in a straight line. In our previous two videos, we discussed a lot about rest, motion, position, distance and displacement. That is, in our previous video, we studied what, student? Position, distance and displacement. Isn't it? Position, distance and displacement. In our previous video, we discussed about these three. So what is positions? We know when the body is moving, say the body moving along the horizontal axis, that is continuously changes its what? X coordinates. Position of the body is represented in terms of what? X coordinate. Say let O is the reference point, then O is known as what? Origin. Left of the reference point is taken as positive and right to the reference point are taken as what? Negative. Therefore, position of a moving body may be 0, means x coordinates. During the motion, x coordinate changes either along the positive x-axis or along the what? Negative x-axis. We studied about this in our previous video. And also we studied about distance. Particular distance, whenever body is in motion, then it travels a path, isn't it? ಒಂದು ವಸ್ತು ಚಲಿಸುತ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ವಸ್ತು ಚಲಿಸಿದ ಪಥದ ಒಟ್ಟು ಉದ್ದವೇ ಆ ವಸ್ತು ಚಲಿಸಿದ ದೂರ. So what is distance? Actual path traversed by a body is called distance. We know distance of a moving body is always positive, it never be negative because distance is scalar physical quantity. Next, what about displacement? Change in position of a body in a particular direction. ನಿರ್ದಿಷ್ಟ ದಿಕ್ಕಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ವಸ್ತುವಿನ ಸ್ಥಾನದಲ್ಲಾದ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗೆ ಅದರ ಸ್ಥಾನ ಪಲ್ಲಟ. It may be 0 or negative or maybe what? Positive. That because displacement is not a vector physical quantity. Displacement is a vector physical quantity. We also discussed about what difference between distance and displacement. In our previous video, we discussed what the difference between distance and displacement. So what is distance? Length of the path traveled by a body is called distance, isn't it? What is displacement? The change in position of a body in a particular direction is called what? Displacement. So second difference, it is a scalar physical quantity. Displacement is a vector physical quantity. Third one, it is always what? Positive, but displacement may be negative, 0 or positive. Isn't it? So we also discussed what? Speed of a moving body. So what is speed? In previous video, we also discussed about what? Speed. What is speed? In Kannada it is known as what? Java. So what do you mean by speed? The rate of distance traveled by a body is called speed. ಒಂದು ವಸ್ತು ಚಲಿಸಿದ ದೂರದಲ್ಲಿನ ದರ, that is the rate of distance traveled by a body is called what? Speed. Or distance traveled by a body per unit time. Distance traveled by a body per unit time. Distance traveled by a particle. Distance traveled by a particle per unit time. Per unit time is called speed. Is called what? Speed. Distance traveled by a particle per unit time is known as what? Speed. That is, speed is given by, that is, speed is equal to speed of a body is given by distance divided by time taken. Means distance by what? Time. Distance by time. That is V is given by S divided by what T. It is what the mathematical expression for what the speed of a moving body. What it? So you know students, what is distance? Actual length of the path traveled by a body is called distance. In SI system, length is measured in terms of unit one is what? Meter. So time is what can be the system of unit. Time is always measured in terms of what? Second. Therefore, unit of the speed is given by. So what is the unit of the speed? Meter per second. So dimension of the speed is given by. We are studying about this in our last video. Remember, dimension T inverse 1 means L to the power of 1, T to the power of what? Minus 1. So this is about what? Definition of the speed, mathematical expression for the speed, unit and dimensions. We know, see, speed of the body may be uniform or it may be variable. What do you mean uniform speed? What do you mean by uniform speed? When we can say speed of the particle is uniform, the body covers equal distances in equal intervals of time. Isn't it? See, what is my uniform speed? What is my uniform speed? Speed of a body is known as uniform speed. So what is uniform speed, student? See, my next topic is what uniform speed. We already studied about uniform speed. I given definition of uniform speed in our last video. See, a body is said to be. A body is said to be. A body is said to be moving. A body is said to be moving with uniform speed. Moving with uniform speed. Moving with what? Uniform speed. If it covers, or if it undergoes, or if it travels equal distances, say equal distances in equal intervals of time. 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 However, the small time intervals may be. However, the small time intervals may be. However, the small time intervals may be. Isn't it? Then the speed of the body is said to be what? Uniform. Okay? Small time intervals. If a body covers equal distances in equal intervals of time, see, a body is said to be moving with uniform speed if it covers equal distances in equal intervals of time. However, the small time intervals may. For example, a car moving with speed 60 km per hour. A car moving with speed 60 km per hour. It says that car travels a distance of 1 km in each 1 minute. Isn't it? Car travels a speed of 60 km per hour means it covers a distance of 1 km in each 1 minute. In 1 minute. Then speed of the car is said to be what? Uniform speed. Say, for example, assuming uniform speed of the car is V is equal to 60 km per hour. Say, speed of the car is what? Say 60 km per hour. We assume the speed of the car is what? Uniform. Then, what is the distance traveled by the car in time? 2 hours. Say, uniform speed of the car is 60 km per hour. Then, what is the distance traveled by the? See, if V is given by, if the speed of the car is 60 km per hour, then distance traveled by the car. Then, distance traveled by the car. Or distance traveled by the body. In time, distance traveled by the car. In time, 2 hours. in time 2 hours is what is distance traveled? S is equal to what? Formula we know I think. See, V is equal to S by T. Definitions. Because speed is the distance traveled per unit time. V is equal to S, T is equal to 1 second. So then S is equal to what? V into T. Formula S is equal to what? No, S is equal to what? Distance traveled. S is equal to what? V into T. So what is V? 60 kilometer per hour. Say 60 kilometer per hour into what? 2 hours. Time is what? 2 hours. Into what? 2 hours. See, per hour get cancels. 60 into 2. That's equal to what student? 120 kilometer. 120 kilometer. It is about what? If a car travels with speed 60 kilometer per hour, the distance traveled by the car in time 2 hours is given by S is equal to what? V into T. That is V is uniform speed 60 kilometer per hour into what? 2 hours. Per hour and hour get cancels. So 60 into 2 that's equal to what? 120 kilometers. I hope that all of you understood about what is speed and what is uniform speed. Read out. What is speed? Distance traveled per unit time, or the rate of distance traveled by a body is called speed. It can be measured by the ratio of the distance traveled by the time taken. That's V is equal to S by T. Unit of the speed is given by meter per second. So dimension is given by LT per second. See, when a body moving with uniform speed means it covers equal distances in equal intervals of time. However, the small time intervals vary. However, the small time intervals vary. See, I am explaining in order to understand uniform speed. I am explaining with what an example. Let's take speed of the car is 60 km per means that it covers distance of 1 kilometer in each 1 minute. Got it? The speed of the car is said to be 60 km per hour. See, if the speed of the car is 60 km per hour, the distance traveled by the car in time 2 hours is V is equal to what? Or S is equal to what? V into T. By using the formula V is equal to S by T. So 60 km per hour into 2 hours. So distance traveled by the car in time 2 hours becomes 120 kilometers. We studied here uniform speed. That is, speed remains constant. Speed of the particle remains what? Constant. When the speed of the particle is constant, then that body said to have uniform motions. See, if the speed of the body is constant, then that body is said to have uniform motion. That is, a particle or a body, see, a body moving along a straight line. When a body moving along a straight line, that would take, when a body moving along a straight line, when a body moving along a straight line, when a body moving along a straight line, and a body moving along a straight line, when a body moving along a straight line covers equal distances in equal intervals of time. When a body moving along a straight line covers equal distances, means when a body moving along a straight line covers equal distances means speed of the body remains what? Constant. When a body moving along a straight line covers equal distances in equal intervals of time. Equal intervals of time. Equal intervals of time. Then the body is said to be moving with uniform motions. Question may ask, what is uniform motions? But the answer for this question, a body moving along a straight line, or when a body moving along a straight line covers equal distances in equal intervals of time, then the body is said to be in. Then the body is said to be in. Then the body is said to be in uniform motion. Then the body is said to be on uniform motion along a straight line. Then the bodies have to be uniform motion along a straight line. The question may ask, what is uniform motions? What is uniform motion? We need to say, what is uniform motion along the straight lines? So, what is the answer for this question? See, when a body moving along a straight line covers equal distances in equal intervals of time, then the body is said to be in uniform motion along a straight line. It is about what? Uniform motions. See, when the speed of the body is non-uniform, if a body covers unequal distances in equal intervals of time, or equal distances in unequal intervals of time, if a body covers unequal distances in equal intervals of time, ಸಮನಾದ ಅವಧಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಚಲನೆಯ ದೂರ ಅಥವಾ ಸಮನಾದ ದೂರ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಅವಧಿಯಲ್ಲಿ, got it? Then speed of the body is said to be what? Non-uniform. When the speed of the body is non-uniform, then motion of the body is expressed or described in terms of average speed. My next topic is today average speed. Average speed means when the speed of the body is non-uniform, means if a body covers unequal distances in equal intervals of time or equal distances in unequal intervals of time, then the body is said to be moving with non-uniform speed. The motion of that body is described in terms of what? Average speed. So what is meant by average speed? We know. How can you find the average run rate of a one-day cricket match? I think IPL is going on, isn't it? So how can you find the average run rate of a one-day cricket match? ಏಕದಿನ ಪಂದ್ಯದ ಸರಾಸರಿ ರನ್ ರೇಟ್ ನೀವು ಹೇಗೆ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಾ? Simple. That is total number of runs. Total number of runs divided by number of overs used to make these runs. Isn't it? Total number of runs, ಒಟ್ಟು ರನ್ಗಳ ಮೊತ್ತ divided by ಆ ರನ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ರನ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡ ಓವರ್ಗಳ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆ. That is average run rate of a one-day cricket match is calculated by using formula known as total number of runs divided by number of overs used to make these runs. It gives what? Average run rate. Say, the average run rate is 6 per over. 6 per over. What is the meaning of this? In each over, equivalent runs scored is equal to what? 6. Some overs may be expensive and some overs may be economical. Got it? Some overs may be what? Expensive. Some overs may be economical. But average run rate means that in each hour, run rate remains what? Constant like this. Some overs may be expensive. Some may be what? Economical. Similarly, if a body is in motion, it may move with what? Slow. Or sometimes it may what? Move fast. That is rapidity or slowness. Vary from instant to instant. What is meant by rapidity, students? Quickness in motions. That is rapidity. That is the average speed is the measure of its rapidity or slowness of the motion of a body. Got it? Therefore, how can you find the average speed? That is average speed of a body gives overall effect of the motions. Overall effect of the motion in a given interval of time. In a given interval of time. Therefore, how can you find the average speed of a body, or how can you find the average speed of a particle similar to the average run rate of a one-day cricket match? Total number of runs divided by total number of overs used to make these runs. Similarly, average speed of a body is defined as How can you find the average speed? Average speed of a body is defined as the ratio of the total distance traveled. The ratio of the water total distance traveled. ಒಟ್ಟು ಚಲಿಸಿದ ದೂರ. The total distance traveled divided by total time taken. ಒಟ್ಟು ಚಲಿಸಿದ ದೂರ ಭಾಗಿಸು ಒಟ್ಟು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡ ಕಾಲ. It is nothing but what student average speed. What is average speed? Total distance traveled by total time taken. It is nothing but what average speed. It is the average speed is the measure of what effect of the motion in a given interval of time. In a given interval of time. It is nothing but average speed. See, for example, a body changes its position. Means a body travels a distance s1 in time t1. Then it travels distance s2 in time t2. s2 in time t1, s2 in time t2. Then how can you find the average speed? Average speed of the body is given by total distance traveled s1 plus s2 divided by total time taken t1 plus t2. What you observe here? S1 and S2 are the different distance traveled by the body in different intervals of time t1 and t2 respectively. Got it? See, if a body travels distance S1 in time t1 and S2 in time t2, then what is the total distance traveled by the body? S1 plus S2. ಒಟ್ಟು ಚಲಿಸಿದ ದೂರ ಎಷ್ಟಾಯಿತು? S1 plus S2. What are maybe direction? Because distance is scalar. It never be negative. So, divided by total time taken t1 plus t2. So, it gives an idea about the average speed. I hope that all of you understood average speed clearly. See, if you split up the body is variable. For example, an athlete while starting off the running, he or she starts with what? Low speed. Isn't it? Gradually increases the speed. Gradually increases the speed. Alva? Athlete ಹೇಗೆ ಓಡ್ತಾರೆ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್? ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಸ್ಲೋ ಆಗಿ ರನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಮನೆಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ಫಾಸ್ಟ್. That is continuously speed of the athlete increases. In such a cases, that is, in these cases, motion of the body is or motion of the athlete is described in terms of a speed known as instantaneous speed. Known as what? Instantaneous speed. My next topic is instantaneous speed. Instantaneous speed. My next topic is what? Instantaneous speed. Instantaneous speed. Remember, we studied what? First we studied what? Speed. Next one, uniform speed. And after average speed, now I am going to discuss about what? Instantaneous speed. See, for example, assume here. So when time is equal to 0 second, speed of the motor bike or speed of a particle, say speed of the particle is 0. So body is at rest. Okay. At the end of first second of its journey, it travels at speed say 2 meters per second. At the end of 2 seconds of second of its motion, speed changes to what? 10 meters per second. So during third second of its motion, speed changes to what? 8 meters per second. Such at the end of the 4th second, speed changes to what? Say 4 meters per second. See, speed of the body what continuously changes. Starting from the rest, increases to 2 meters, suddenly increases to 10 meters, again slow down. So reduces speed to what? 8 meters per second. Then reduces speed to what? 4 meters per second. Now this body is said to be moving with variable speed. Isn't it? This body is said to be moving with what? Variable speed. If you want to know what is the speed of the body at the instant of 1.5 seconds, that speed is nothing but what student? Instantaneous speed. Got it? See, if you want to know what is the speed of the body at time 2.1 second, this speed is nothing but what? Instantaneous speed. So what is instantaneous speed? Speed of a moving particle at a particular instant of time. Speed of a particle at a particular instant of time. Speed of a moving particle at a particular instant of time. ನಿರ್ದಿಷ್ಟ ಕ್ಷಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ವಸ್ತುವಿನ ಚಲನ is called instantaneous speed. So what is instantaneous speed? The speed of a moving particle. The speed of a moving particle. Say speed of a moving particle at a particular instant of time or at a given instant of time. See, the speed of a moving particle, at a particular instant of time or at a given instant of time, at a particular ನಿರ್ದಿಷ್ಟ ಕ್ಷಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಚಲಿಸುತ್ತಿರುವ ವಸ್ತುವಿನ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ is called instantaneous speed. The speed of a moving particle at a particular instant of time, at a particular instant of time, is called instantaneous speed. Is called instantaneous speed. The speed of a moving particle at a particular instant of time is called instantaneous speed. Instantaneous speed. Instantaneous speed. Okay. The definitions. The speed of a moving particle at a particular instant of time is known as instantaneous speed. ನಿರ್ದಿಷ್ಟ ಕ್ಷಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಚಲಿಸುತ್ತಿರುವ ವಸ್ತುವಿನ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ instantaneous speed. Try to understand. Let S be the, say, let S be the distance traveled. Let S be the distance traveled. Okay, let S be the what? Distance traveled. Distance traveled. In time t. In time, say t. Okay, let S be the distance traveled by the body in time t. In time t. S plus delta S and S plus delta S. Say, and S plus delta S. S plus delta S. I told you last class. Don't read it as delta into S. Read it as what? Delta S. Delta refers to what? Small change. Small change. See, S plus delta S will be distance traveled in time t plus delta t. Say t plus delta t means S plus delta S is. Therefore, to travel distance S plus delta S, it will take a bit more time than the t. So time taken is what? T plus delta t. Now, what is the distance traveled in time into delta t? So what is the time taken by the particle to travel small distance delta S? Delta t. Isn't it? See? Then delta S Vd. No delta S Vd. No delta S Vd. Distance traveled by the particle. Isn't it? Delta S Vd. Distance traveled by the particles. Say delta S is what? Distance traveled by the particle. Distance traveled by the particle in time delta t. What is in time delta t? Isn't it? If S is the distance traveled in time t, S plus delta S is the distance traveled in time t plus delta t. Now delta S becomes distance traveled by the particle in time delta t. Now what is average speed? See, because speed of the particle is variable. Therefore, what is average speed of the particle? See, what is the average speed of the particle? Average speed of this particle is given by average speed v is given by what? Total distance traveled delta S divided by what? Delta t. Delta S by delta t. You know students, why delta S? Why delta S approaches to 0? Why delta T approaches to 0? I told you already, delta refers to very small. Delta T means very small interval of time. But delta refers to what? Small change. So delta T is nothing but what? Small interval of time. See, if delta T approaches to 0, means when delta T approaches to 0, when delta T approaches to 0, when delta T tends to 0, then delta S also approaches to 0. Tends to 0, very very small. See, if delta T approaches to 0, as delta S also approaches to 0. But delta S by delta T has what? Finite limit. What the idea about this mathematical analysis? See, delta T tends to 0. Obviously, delta S also tends to 0. Because if time taken by the body is very small, during a small interval of time, distance traveled by that particle is also very small. The ratio of the small by small is no need to be small. It has to find a limit. Isn't it? For example, only for sake of understanding, say delta S is distance traveled by the particle is say 0.1 meter, just 10 centimeter. Okay? Then delta T is time taken by the particle to travel this distance is say 0.01 seconds. 0.01 second. Then what is the average speed of this particle? Delta S by delta T. Why delta S by delta T? 0.1 divided by 0.01. That's equal to what? 0.1 by 0.01. 10 meter per second. 10 meter per second is what? A finite value. Hello? 10 meter per second is what? A finite value. What I am saying is means if when delta T is approaches to 0, then delta S also approaches to 0. But ratio delta S by delta T has the finite limit. Ratio delta S by delta T has the finite limit. Therefore, instantaneous speed of a particle is given by what is instantaneous speed? Instantaneous speed is given by instantaneous speed V is given by instantaneous speed V is given by. So V is equal to, so what is instantaneous speed V? Limit of, because I told you delta S by delta T has the what? Finite limit. Limit of delta T tends to 0. Limit of delta T tends to 0. Delta S divided by delta T. Delta S divided by delta T. It is not instantaneous speed of a moving particle. Mathematical formula for what? Instantaneous speed of a moving particle. I hope that all of you understood clearly about instantaneous speed. Any doubt? What is instantaneous speed? The speed of a moving particle at a particular instant of time is called instantaneous speed. These are only for sake of understanding and explain this one students. Let us be the distance traveled by the particle in time t. And S plus delta S, small increase in distance traveled. So because time is also there is a small increase in time, t plus delta t. Now delta S will be distance traveled by the particle in time delta t. Got it? Now, average speed of the particle is given by V is equal to what? Delta S by delta T. When delta T approaches to 0, then delta S also tends to what? 0. Now, instantaneous speed of the particle is given by V is equal to limit of delta T tends to 0, delta S by delta T. We can proceed to study more about it in mathematics. Limit of delta S by delta T is equal to what? ds by dt. Derive it. What it? We study more about it in maths in limit chapter. There is a unit of a calculus. See, ds by dt, delta s by delta refers to what? Small but unstable. D refers to what? Stable but small but stable. Therefore, v is equal to limit of delta t tends to 0, delta s by delta or ds by dt. This is what mathematical formula used to express instantaneous speed. I hope that all of you understood. So what is the meaning of this? I told you, as delta t tends to 0, delta s also tends to 0. Because as the time is approaches to very small, distance turned by the particle during that small interval of time is also very small. But the ratio delta s by delta t has the what? Finite limit. Finite limit. Therefore, instantaneous speed is equal to limit delta t tends to 0, delta s by delta t. Or we can write according to mass differentiation, we can write ds by what? dt. It is about what student? Instantaneous speed. I hope that all of you understood clearly about speed. It is about speed. Remember straight what? What is speed? What is uniform speed? What is average speed? And discuss what is meant by instantaneous speed. Now I am going to discuss about what? Next topic of the chapter, velocity. Next topic of the chapter is what? Velocity. Velocity. So what do you mean velocity? In Kannada it is known as vega. Vega. I think you are familiar about this word known as vega. So what is velocity? What is the velocity of a moving body? Velocity. But the next important physical quantity is known as what? Velocity. So what is meant by velocity? We know analogous to speed. What is speed? Distance traveled per unit time. Isn't it? Distance traveled per unit time is nothing but speed. What about velocity? Displacement by time takers. See, velocity of a body can define as the rate of displacement of the body. It can be defined as the rate of displacement of the body. The rate of displacement. The rate of displacement of the body with respect to time. With respect to time. The rate of displacement of the body with respect to time is called velocity. Is called velocity. Got it? The rate of displacement of the body with respect to what time is called velocity. ಸ್ಥಾನದಲ್ಲಾದ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಭಾಗಿಸಿ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡ ಕಾಲ. Changing position by time. What is changing position? Displacement. I told you, whenever you turn, the rate comes divided by time. ಸ್ಥಾನದಲ್ಲಾದ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಯ ದರ. ಕನ್ನಡ ಸ್ಥಾನವಲ್ಲದ ಭಾಗಿಸಿ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡ ಕಾಲ. Special word of velocity. That is, velocity of a body is given by. That is, velocity v is equal to. See what is velocity? Displacement divided by time takers. Isn't it? See, displacement divided by what? Time. Displacement by time. Displacement by time. That is v is equal to. That is v is equal to what? Delta x or simply x. Divided by what? Delta t. Isn't it? Delta x by delta t. Or we can say velocity equal to what? Displacement by time. I will give you expression later. Okay. See, velocity equal to displacement when time is equal to 1 second. Isn't it? See, velocity equal to displacement when time is equal to unit. Got it? Therefore, also velocity can be also be defined as displacement of the particle per unit time. Isn't it? Velocity can also be defined as. Velocity can also be defined as. Velocity can also be defined as. Velocity can also be defined as displacement of the particle per unit time. Displacement of the particle displacement of the particle per unit time is known as what? Velocity. Any doubt? It is about velocity. Any doubt about velocity? What about velocity? The rate of displacement of the body with respect to time is called velocity. That's velocity equal to what? Displacement by time seconds. Displacement by time seconds. See, velocity equal to displacement when time is equal to 1 unit. Maybe per second or maybe per minute. Isn't it? Unit. But in SI system, unit of the time is per second. Therefore, velocity can also be defined as displacement of the particle per unit time. Per unit time. Similarly, we can define what? Uniform velocity, average velocity, and instantaneous velocity. It is analogous to that of speed. Correct? So, what is uniform velocity? What is uniform velocity? Next, uniform velocity. What is meant by uniform velocity? My next topic is what? Uniform velocity. So, what is uniform velocity? Say, definition of uniform velocity. We know if your body covers equal distances in equal intervals of time, then speed is said to be uniform. Whenever you define the speed is the what? Distance traveled by time taken. What about velocity? Displacement by time taken. Displacement by time taken. Isn't it? Therefore, the velocity of a moving body, the velocity of a moving body, the velocity of a moving body, the velocity of a moving body is said to be uniform. Velocity of a moving body is said to be uniform. Is said to be uniform. If it undergoes equal displacements in equal intervals of time. If it undergoes equal displacements, if it undergoes equal displacements, if it undergoes equal displacements in equal intervals of time, in equal intervals of time, in equal intervals of time. However, the small time intervals may be. 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 Got it? However, the small time intervals may be. This is the definition of uniform velocity, students. Got it? So, what is uniform velocity? The velocity of a moving body is said to be uniform if it undergoes or if it covers equal displacements in equal intervals of time. However, the small time intervals may be. For example, velocity of the body is 10 meters per second for time 10 seconds. Try to understand. Velocity of the moving body is 10 meters per second for time 10 seconds. What is the meaning of this? For an interval of 10 seconds, it covers displacement of 10 meters in each 1 second. 10 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ತನಕ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಸೆಕೆಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ವಸ್ತು ತನ್ನ ಸ್ಥಾನವನ್ನು 10 ಮೀಟರ್ನಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಸೆಕೆಂಡಿಗೆ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಮಾಡುತ್ತದೆ. Then velocity of this body said to be what? Uniform. Got it? See, if the speed of the if the velocity of the body is 10 meters per second for time 10 seconds. See, if the velocity of the body is 10 meters per second for time 10 seconds, what is the meaning of this? This body covers displacement of 10 meters in each second for time 10 seconds. ಪ್ರತಿ ಒಂದು ಸೆಕೆಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ವಸ್ತು ತನ್ನ ಸ್ಥಾನದಲ್ಲಿ 10 ಮೀಟರ್ ಅಂತೆ 10 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ತನಕ ಬದಲಾಯಿಸುತ್ತದೆ. Then velocity of this body is said to be what? Uniform for duration of 10 seconds. Got it? This is about what? Uniform velocity of the body. Any doubt, student? What is uniform velocity? The velocity of a moving body is said to be uniform if it covers equal displacements in equal intervals of time. If it covers equal displacements in equal intervals of time, however the small time intervals may be. However the small time intervals may be. Got it? So I think we understood it clearly by using this example. See, if the velocity of the body is 10 meter per second, 10 meter per second, for time t is equal to 10 seconds, it means that this body changes its displacement by 10 meter in each second for time in a during interval of 10 seconds. ಪ್ರತಿ 1 ಸೆಕೆಂಡಿಗೆ ಆ ವಸ್ತು ತನ್ನ ಸ್ಥಾನದಲ್ಲಿ 10 ಮೀಟರ್ ಅಂತೆ 10 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ತನಕ ಸ್ಥಾನವನ್ನು ಬದಲಾಯಿಸುತ್ತೆ. Then the velocity of this particle is said to be what? Uniform. Okay, if your body covers unequal displacements in equal intervals of time or equal displacements in unequal intervals of time, got it? See, velocity of the body is said to be uniform. See, velocity of the body is said to be uniform is, see, like this. Assume here time t, say x positions. Okay, when time t is equal to 0 seconds, say it is at its own position. Its body starts its motion from our reference point. I am explained about this. We will discuss in what the position. Say body is at our reference point. Say origin. At the end of the 1 second, body is at displacement. Say 2 meter. At the end of the 2 second, body is at position 4 meter. At the end of 3 second, body is at position say 6 meter. What is the meaning of this? See, in each 1 second, body covers displacement of 2 meter. See, 0 to 0. Assume body moving along the right side of the reference point. Say 0 to 0. When time t is equal to 0 second, body is set to what? X is equal to 0. Got it? X is equal to what? 0. See, at the time of 1 second, t is equal to what? 1 second, body is set 2 meter. T is equal to 2 second, body is set what? Say 4 meter. T is equal to 3 second, body is set what? 6 meters. See, in each 1 second, changing position of the body is 2 meter along the same directions. Along the same directions. The velocity of this body is said to be what? Uniform. Got it? What is uniform velocity? The velocity of a moving body is said to be uniform if it undergoes equal displacements in equal intervals of time. If a body undergoes unequal displacements in equal intervals of time or equal displacements in unequal intervals of time or unequal displacements in unequal intervals of time, unequal displacements in unequal intervals of time, then velocity of the body is said to be changes. Velocity of the body is said to be non-uniform. Got it? Velocity of the body is said to be what? Non-uniform. When velocity of the body is variable, then we describe the motion of the body in terms of average velocity. We describe the motion of the body in terms of average velocity. My next topic is what? Average velocity. What is the next topic is the average velocity. So what is average velocity? My next topic of the chapter, student, average velocity. Say average velocity. So what is meant by average velocity? We studied average speed, similar to that, same as that of average speed. we can define average velocity. See, when the velocity of the body is non-uniform, when the velocity of the body is non-uniform, then we can define average velocity. So what is average velocity? It can be defined as the total displacement of the body divided by time taken. Isn't it? It can be average velocity of a body can be defined as the ratio of the total displacement of the body divided by time taken. Got it? It is nothing but average velocity. That is, it can be defined as means average velocity can be defined as the total displacement of the body or the ratio of the total displacement of the body. The ratio of the total displacement of the body. Total displacement of the body. Total displacement of the body to the time. In the NCERT book 1, the total displacement of the body divided by time taken. That's also correct. Because in NCERT book 1, we should follow as per our department code. We should follow what our NCERT book is. See, it can be defined as the ratio of the total displacement of the body. The ratio of the total displacement of the body to the time taken. To the time taken to travel that much of displacement. To the time taken. Or we can write total displacement of the body divided by time taken. That is, it is average velocity. Let us consider that x1 and x2. We know about positions. We discussed the positions. Let x1 and x2 are the. Let x1 and x2 are the positions of the body. Let x1 and x2 are the positions of the body. Positions of the body at any instance t1 and t2 respectively. Position of the body at any instance. Say at any instance t1 and t2 respectively. t1 and t2 respectively. Got it? See, let x1 and x2, we know our position represented along what x coordinate, x axis. See, let x1 and x2 are the position of the body at any instant t1 and t2 respectively. Then average velocity of the body is given. So what is average velocity? Average velocity of the body is given by what is average velocity? Average velocity is equal to what? Total displacement divided by total time taken. Isn't it? Total displacement of the body. Total displacement of the body divided by total time taken. Total time taken. Total displacement of the body. What? Total time taken. Total time taken. I will write it here. See, average velocity of the body is given by the total displacement of the body by what? The total time taken. Remember, student, in our NCERT book, average velocity represented by putting bar over the v. So, average velocity. No, average velocity represented by putting bar over the v. So, read as v bar. So, v bar is given by displacement of the body. See, displacement of the body. See, average velocity is the total displacement of the body. See, we are assuming that x1 and x2 are the position of the body at any instant of time t1 and t respectively. What displacement of the body? Position of the body changed from x1 to x2 in time t1 to t2. Then average velocity of the body is given by changing positions x2 minus x1 divided by time taken t2 minus t1. t2 minus t1. Got it? Or average velocity of the body is given by V bar is equal to what? Delta x divided by delta t. See, delta x by delta t. It is the average velocity. Average velocity of the body. So V bar is given by delta x by delta t. Got it? What about average velocity? Average velocity of a body can be defined as the ratio of the total displacement of the body to the total distance. Let x1 and x2 are the position of the body at any instance t1 and t2 respectively. Then average velocity of the body by definition is given by total displacement divided by total distance. So average velocity in our LCR, in our textbook discussed, represented average velocity as V bar, read it as V bar, x2 minus x1 by t2 minus t1, or V bar is equal to what? Delta x by delta t. Students, in our today's session, we studied lot, isn't it? We studied what? Speed, uniform speed, average speed, and instantaneous speed. And we started one more physical quantity known as velocity, uniform velocity, average velocity. So now the next topic is what? Instantaneous velocity. I will discuss it in my next video. I hope that all of you understood clearly about the topic discussed in today's session. Still, if you have any doubt about these topics, please feel free to ask